Shen Wenlang felt like his world had cracked open, leaving a gaping hole in his chest. Gao Tu was gone, and the weight of that absence pressed down on him like a physical force. Ever since he had discovered that Gao Tu was carrying his child, every thought, every heartbeat, every breath had been consumed by fear and worry. But now the fear had become unbearable, turning into a desperate, gnawing ache that left him restless and trembling. He had always believed that love could overcome any obstacle, but the disappearance of Gao Tu was beyond anything he had imagined. He had no map, no clue, and no way to reach the one person he needed most in his life. Every street he walked felt empty, hostile, as if the city itself was conspiring against him. He ran from one place to another, knocking on doors, asking strangers, calling friends, anyone who might have seen Gao Tu. His voice was hoarse from shouting his name into alleyways, from calling into empty apartments, from making endless phone calls that went unanswered. Each no he received, each unfamiliar face that shook its head, felt like a fresh wound, slicing deeper into his heart. It was impossible to describe the fear, the helplessness, and the panic that coursed through him all at once. He couldn't stop. He wouldn't stop. He had to find Gao Tu, had to ensure that both he and their unborn child were safe. Memories of Gao Tu flooded his mind relentlessly. He remembered the calm, reliable beta who had quietly devoted himself to Wenlang for over a decade, hiding a secret that had never once diminished his care and love. He remembered the subtle smiles, the quiet gestures, the way Gao Tu had always been a safe harbor in a world that often felt chaotic. And now, with Gao Tu gone, those memories felt like cruel reminders of everything he stood to lose. His chest ached with longing, with the desperation of a man who had nothing to hold on to, but fading echoes of someone he could not reach. Hours turned into a blur. Wenlang's steps grew heavy. His muscles screamed in protest, but he refused to give in to exhaustion. Every instinct in him screamed to stop, to rest, but he couldn't. Gao Tu was out there somewhere, perhaps in pain, perhaps scared, perhaps struggling with the pregnancy that he, as a beta, could never fully understand. Wenlang imagined the life-threatening challenges Gao Tu must be facing. The physical agony of carrying a child as an omega, the isolation, the loneliness. His chest tightened with guilt, realizing he had been absent, unaware, while Gao Tu endured so much. Tears blurred his vision, yet he pressed on, calling out into the night, into the cold streets, hoping his voice would reach him somehow. Each lead Wenlang followed brought only more heartache. A neighbor had seen someone resembling Gao Tu, but it was only a fleeting glimpse, a shadow passing by, gone before Wenlang could reach it. A taxi driver remembered a man answering a phone hurriedly, but there was no confirmation, no certainty. Each false hope twisted inside Wenlang, leaving him more raw, more desperate than before. He felt a rage rising in him, a mixture of frustration, fear, and helplessness. He wanted to shake the world, to tear it open until Gao Tu was returned to him, safe and unharmed. At times, Wenlang stopped, leaning against walls, gasping for air, tears sliding down his face. He whispered Gao Tu's name into the wind, into empty streets, into places that seemed indifferent to his suffering. Gao Tu, please, I'll find you. I won't let anything happen to you. I promise. His voice cracked, ragged and trembling. He imagined Gao Tu curled up in pain somewhere, lonely, scared, perhaps bleeding or weakened from the pregnancy. The thought was unbearable, and yet it propelled him forward, past exhaustion, past the walls of the city, past every obstacle in his way. The night grew colder, darker, the city streets emptying as people retreated into the safety of their homes. Wenlang's desperation only intensified. He imagined every possible danger Gao Tu might face, slipping, falling, fainting, collapsing under the strain of carrying their child alone. Each scenario made his chest tighten, made his vision blur with tears, made his entire body ache with a pain he couldn't describe. The emptiness of the world without Gao Tu was deafening, suffocating, consuming. He wandered into a park, the moonlight casting long shadows on the ground, highlighting the isolation he felt. Every bench, every tree, every empty path seemed like a place where Gao Tu could be hiding. Wenlang sank to his knees, clutching his head, feeling the unbearable weight of not knowing. How could someone so central to his life, so loved, just vanish without a trace? He screamed, a raw, gut-wrenching sound that echoed into the night, carrying all of his fear, his guilt, his love, and his despair. The city remained indifferent, silent, unmoving, as if mocking his pain. Memories of Gao Tu's resilience came to him. The way he had endured hardship silently, the way he had sacrificed for others without complaint. Wenlang felt a pang of guilt so sharp it made him stagger. He hadn't realized the full extent of Gao Tu's suffering, hadn't known how much he had struggled alone. The thought of Gao Tu facing danger, of Gao Tu's body weakening, of Gao Tu almost losing their child, these were unbearable images that Wenlang could not erase. He clenched his fists, his nails digging into his palms, desperate for a way to reach him, to protect him, to take the pain away. Hours passed, each second a torturous eternity. Wenlang moved like a man possessed, ignoring hunger, fatigue, and the chill of the night. Every flicker of movement, every shadow that resembled Gao Tu, sent his heart racing, only to be followed by crushing disappointment when it was not him. He felt as though the world itself was conspiring to keep them apart, as though fate had decided to punish him for loving so fiercely. He would not allow it. He refused to accept a world where Gao Tu could be alone, suffering, or in danger. Finally, Wenlang sat on the curb, his body trembling from exhaustion, tears streaming down his face. His voice was hoarse, raw from calling out, but he refused to stop. I will find you. I will protect you. I will be there for you and our child. I swear it, Gao Tu. His words were both a promise and a lifeline, a tether connecting him to the one person he could not bear to lose. The night stretched on endlessly, filled with uncertainty and pain, but Wenlang's determination never wavered. No matter how far he had to go, no matter how exhausted he became, he would continue to search, continue to call, and continue to hope. Every corner, every streetlight, every silent alley was a potential location where Gao Tu might be hiding, recuperating, or struggling. Wenlang's mind raced, calculating possibilities, revisiting leads, refusing to let despair consume him entirely. Even as his body screamed for rest, his heart screamed louder, carrying the voice of love and desperation that refused to be silenced. He imagined Gao Tu's hands, small and fragile, curled protectively over his belly, the life they had created together waiting for him. That image, that tiny spark of hope, was enough to keep him moving. Through the night, Wenlang's search continued, a mix of anguish, hope, and relentless devotion driving him forward. He could not afford to stop, not for a second. Gao Tu's life and their child's life were in his hands, and he would not fail them. The tears that blurred his vision, the exhaustion that weighed on his body, the desperation that clawed at his heart, all of it was nothing compared to the fear of losing them. He would search until the end of the world if he had to, and even then, he would not give up. Gao Tu was his heart, his soul, his everything, and he would fight to bring him back, no matter the cost. Wenlang's cries echoed into the night, mingling with the shadows, carrying the weight of a love so intense, so desperate that it could not be contained. He was broken, exhausted, and trembling, yet every step, every cry, every ounce of energy was a testament to his unwavering devotion. Gao Tu had to be found, and Wenlang would move heaven and earth to ensure it. No distance, no obstacle, no fear could stop him. He would not fail. Wenlang sank to the cold pavement, his body shaking from exhaustion, his chest heaving with ragged breaths. Every lead, every fleeting shadow of hope had crumbled into nothing. The city, once familiar, now felt like a maze of despair, its silence mocking his desperation. He pressed his hands to his face, tears streaming freely, and whispered Gao Tu's name over and over, as if repeating it could summon him back. The fear clawed at him relentlessly. What if Gao Tu was in pain? What if the pregnancy had taken a dangerous turn? The thought of their child, fragile and helpless, made Wenlang's stomach twist with agony. He felt powerless, useless, and unbearably alone. His heart ached with a love that burned like fire. A love that could not reach the one it was meant for.